My name is Lawson Stankiewicz, and this is part 5 of the Experiential Field Project. And today we're going to be going over some of my company's key metrics, the spaghetti diagram, the fishbone diagram, as well as the pick chart. So we're going to start with the key metrics. One of them is going to be the lead time. We kind of talked about this in the last video, but I want to go back over it again. In the current and future state is what we're going to be looking at over all these things today. And as you can see, there was a large reduction in lead time, which shows that the process redesign was a major improvement for the company. So I think that would be a good thing to suggest. Now let's go to the value added time. Now this is a big one because a lot of the time in the previous or current state process was wasted on stuff that wasn't really super important. As you can see, the future state, there was a lot more value added time. So there's less wasted time, obviously, and more of it is used for value. Now, process cycle efficiency. This is a big one because the company in the future state, with the improvements that I recommend putting in place, makes the company more than 2 times efficient as it was. And then after that, we're going to look at inventory levels. We talked about in the last one, high bulk orders, like 3,000 units. That is just too many units to keep track of. And you could be, over ordering. So then let's look at the future state, lower bulk. This is back to what we were talking about, the 1,000 units every week, every couple weeks. This reduces possible overstock, and it's better to forecast this way. Now, order frequency, I suggested going from monthly to bi-weekly. This improves response, which is true. You're able to just keep track of inventory a lot better. Seeing stuff come in bi-weekly and having to keep track of less items. Now, looking at bottlenecks, the biggest one is going to be that shipping and customs. The future state would just be to reduce the time it takes at customs, but it's kind of hard to do that unless you streamline some process to get product through customs better. However, it is still the biggest risk area. Now, I want to look at the spaghetti diagram. I think this is actually really important. As you can see, up here is kind of just like the general flow of where what products are doing from start to finish. However, the overseas products, they do go into shipping in France. And then once they come to storage, as you can see, the overseas products go into storage. They go to the Panam warehouse storage. And once it goes into storage, it does an inventory count. And then after we count the inventory, it goes into stocking. And obviously, once you have the inventory count done, it'll show the number of items available once it has been put into our system. Not only that, but when you stock all the stuff on the shelves, you'll be able to see all the clear packaging and what is available to be shipped out for those consumers from an internal standpoint. Now, obviously, the number of items available to order and the packaging goes straight out to shipping the ordered product out, which then goes straight to the consumer. So looking at the fishbone diagram, I think this is a pretty important diagram, starting obviously from supplier and sourcing. There's far shipping distances, single supplier, inconsistent lead times just because you are shipping from overseas. Then you look at the workflow. After the supplier, all the product gets past the supplier. The batch ordering, the long customs delays, large wait time in between each step, shipping, customs, ordering, etc. And then facing chopping movements within a supply chain, basically just things not moving as efficient as possible. Now, inventory management, there could be inconsistent inventory checks, large over or understocked products, no recurring reorder system, and then transportation logistics, overseas delays, transit time delays, risk of damaged lost product, and customs clearance issues. Now we get to communication. There's the communication gap with foreign suppliers. That is obviously a big one, especially in a country that does not speak English. Slow response time, limited coordination across operations. The communication can get hard in that aspect. Now, external factors, as we're shipping from overseas and consumables, tariffs are a big thing. Weather delays can be a massive issue. And then, of course, global supply chain disruptions as well as demand changes. Now, here's the pick chart. The implement where we would start. Some of the good things or good ideas that I had was improve the communication with suppliers. I think this is a big one just to make things run more smoothly. And then also doing inventory regularly and use a digital spreadsheet to track it. I think doing inventory regularly will keep the efficiency up. However, some of the challenges, the long-term challenges, would be to implement a demand forecasting system to allow for more frequent and smaller shipments. Because a lot of it is consumables, it's not, these consumables may not be consumed daily, so it may be hard to track and create a demand forecast, which is why I think it's a better idea to do smaller shipments. And partner with faster, more reliable logistics providers, basically just have better shipping operations for when products go locally. Possible quick fixes and quick wins. Standardize packaging process while tracking fulfillment times. Just get better at packaging, seeing how long things take to get shipped. Label and organize the warehouse for ease of finding products. That's another big one. And then the kill and ignore. Expanding product variety too fast. This is really important because it's very difficult to remember and track more products than you are capable of. And things can get really messy that way. You'll lose inventory, etc. And also increasing bulk shipment sizes. As I stated earlier, that is not the best plan of action, considering bigger shipments lead to overstock, etc. But yeah, this is the part 5 of my experiential field project. Thank you very much.